let's dive into Billy Walton, who got SMU on the board during the week with his commitment, and a former Dallas South Oak Cliff two-time state champion is headed back to the Dallas area for his opportunity to play for the Mustangs. He didn't play much for the Longhorns this fall. It was just his first season on the 40 acres. 6'2.5-ish, 215-pound edge rusher will really shore up that position long term. You've got guys like Jafari Harvey entering his final year of eligibility, as well as a really backloaded room that next year you're looking at Isaiah Smith, Cam Robertson, Jalen Samuels could theoretically play there. And SMU wanted to kind of balance the roster, and the idea was to get Billy Walton on board, and he'll be able to factor in potentially down the line if he develops the right way. He had offers from Texas A&M, Tennessee, Oklahoma State. He was a one-time Cowboy commit there before flipping to Texas. And you bring back a two-time state champion, helps you in the Dallas area. SMU's roster is approaching 50% of DFW players making up the roster. So they continue to prioritize that in recruiting, both in the high school ranks and the transfer portal. And when I look at this Billy Walton addition, I like what Sam Dunham is doing by bringing him in. Scott Simons, of course, signing off on it as well, because again, it kind of takes the pressure off of you when you bring in a 2025 guy, which they're shooting for the likes of Kamarian Morgan and some other guys out there. They're going to have Smith Orogbo on campus later this month. He's a 5-star if the rankings ended today for On3. So you're recruiting some talent, but you want to make sure that that position is addressed. And then you're going to have a guy who can maybe redshirt if they come in the 2025 class, and then you're really balanced well in that room. So Colin Simmons, the 5-star prospect, signs with Texas, gets on campus, slides into that edge position for Texas. And so the writing was kind of on the wall for Billy Walton, who when you look around at what Texas has done in recruiting, sometimes that just happens. Good players can get recruited over by elite prospects like a Colin Simmons. And that's kind of what happened to Billy Walton. So he's looking for an opportunity to get on the field and really start to play. And so he'll be in probably a small role this season, but the goal is to really get him going in the long term for SMU, as he'll be a part of the future at that position. So they dip back into their familiar territory of a Dallas area standout to bring him back home and let him take a run at developing into some type of a contributor for SMU. So a nice addition there in Billy Walton, who's highly recruited. We'll see how he develops. Obviously, just playing in 2 games for the Longhorns, he wasn't a guy that was, playing a ton this past season as Texas, had Anthony Hill and had some other guys on that defensive line that were contributing. And of course, he was just a true freshman this season. So you get a guy who's kind of a best available take. And we talked about that a lot when it came to the transfer portal. So after bringing in Jared Harrison Hunt early this week, SMU gets Billy Walton to solidify the long-term future of another position on the defensive line.